So this is the first video in a series of videos where you're going to learn about Pygame. So specifically in this series, we are going to learn about the Pygame surface. But first, we need to install Pygame. So to install Pygame, you can open your command prompt. If you're on Linux or Mac, you can open your terminal. Then after that, you can type the command pip install Pygame. Pip install Pygame. Then you can press enter. Since I already have it installed, I won't reinstall it. So after that, you can open your text editor, either Sublime Text. In my case, I'm using Sublime Text or VS Code. Then from there, you import Pygame. After importing Pygame, you can call these colors. So in this video, I'm not going to explain colors, but I'll explain it in a video down in the series. Then I'm going to call canvas to make my initial surface, or to make my screen. Now to make my screen, I'm going to call pygame.display.setMode. Then in the set mode, what it takes a list where the first element in the list is the width of the screen, and the second element in the list is the height of the screen. So then I'm going to run my code. So when I run my code, I'm going to have my screen here. So this is my screen of width 500 and height 600. So now for you, in your case, you may not be able to run that screen because you don't have this block down here. So you can just copy this block. I will explain what it means later on if you're not able to run the screen, and it just comes and then it goes off immediately. So you can put this code, then I will explain it what it means later on. Now on my canvas, I'm going to call canvas.fill. I'm going to fill my canvas green. So if I fill my canvas green and then I run the code, but here after running the code, my canvas is not green. What has happened? So to explain this, it comes here on this other command flip. So what Pygame does, when it fills the canvas green, it fills it beneath the black screen. Now the flip what it does, it brings whatever is down and brings it back up. Flip brings whatever is down and brings it back up. So when I now type my pygame.display.flip, then I run the code again, I can see that my screen is now green. Now let's continue. Now I would like to make a red block on my surface using the surface. So to make a red block, I will make a variable called red block. Then I'm going to call pygame.surface. Now my surface takes in a list with the width 50 and then the height 20. Then my red block, I'm going to fill it with red. I'm going to make it red. So when I run the code, you can see that my red block has not appeared. Why hasn't it appeared? It has not appeared because it is underneath the green screen. So I need to flip it for it to appear. But again, I have not put it on the what? On the screen. I've just made it and I've filled it. I've made the surface, made it width 50. I've made it width 50 and height 20, and I've made it red, but I have not put it on the screen. So to put it on the screen, I'm going to come here and run this code. Bleed. Now canvas.bleed. Now I'm going to put my red block on the canvas. So I'm going to call bleed, and bleed makes a copy of the red block. So now I'm going to put the position which is 110. But how does positioning in Pygame work? So I'm going to bring up a model here and paint. So now let's enlarge it. So in Pygame, the screen is like this. In Pygame box. Now this area here in Pygame is the y-axis. This area here is the what? Is the x-axis. Now this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. goes here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, goes on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm saying 100 here. What does that mean? It means that from left to right. What does left to right mean? Left, this is left, this is right. So from left to right, I want 100. So let's say if 100 is somewhere here. So meaning that this is my 100. Then, here you have from top to bottom 10. Top to bottom 10. So when I come here, I'm going to have my top to bottom 10. Maybe this is my 10. And I'm going to draw. So my surface will have its initial corner at this position. So if it has its initial corner at this position, it's going to be drawn at this position like that. So in Pygame, that's how usually positioning works. Then I have, so canvas.bleed means that I have made a copy on the screen. So I put the red block, made a copy on the screen, and I put it on this position. Then I'm going to run the code. Let me first split out this. So when I run the code, my red block has not yet appeared on the screen. Why hasn't it appeared on the screen? The reason it has not appeared on the screen is because it's underneath the green screen. So I need to flip it back on top of the screen. So if I run it, so you can see that I have flipped it, and then I have my red block. So after me having my red block, I'm going to talk about another thing, getting coordinates. So here, when I call red block dot get rect, what does that do? It gets, let me print it here. Print red rect, not red block. Print red rect. So when I print it, it gives me an object of rectangle with different coordinates on it. Now, when I say red rect dot move, this IP means in place. So it's going to move in place, move it by 10 and 20. Now when I print my red rect again, so when I print my red rect again, you can see that it has been changed. This position has been changed by 10. This position has been changed by 200. This move in place, it changed these positions. Now I can make a copy again of the red block on the screen. So to make a copy, I call my canvas.bleed. Then I call red block. So when I call red block, then my position, usually bleed takes here the position, but in the position I can pass in this object of red rect. So when I pass in this object of red rect, which has been changed from 0, 0, 50, 20 to 10, 200, 50, 200. So when I change it, then I'll come here, then I'll flip it back on the screen, meaning that, remember, when you copy it on the screen, it is put underneath. Then when you flip it, it's brought back on top. So when I run the code again, and then I will see here that I have my new red block here that I have created. My new red block is here. That is all about Pygame surfaces. So what have we learned in Pygame surfaces? We have learned how to make a canvas. We have learned how to fill the canvas with a certain color. We have learned what flip means, my Pygame display flip. We have learned how to create a surface. We have learned how to put the surface on our canvas. We have learned what bleed means, makes a copy on the screen, and flip brings it back on top. So that is the introduction of Pygame surfaces. So continue to the next video, which talks about how to use colors. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.